Hey everybody, it's Jeff, Aromatics. What's going on? I hope everybody is having a great day wherever you're at. Now the other day I was asked what are some of my top cigars. Now I haven't done a top cigar list since probably 2020, surprisingly. I think that's when I did my last one. And I also did one in 2018. And there were top 5 videos, and surprisingly a lot of the cigars that I like now are the ones that I liked back then. I'm not like some people that are always changing the cigars that they like year after year. I seem to have this certain ones that I enjoy, especially manufactured store-bought cigars, not ones that I roll myself, that I just always gravitate towards and that I find worth buying over and over again, either because I can't really make one myself that I find close enough to, or just because they're just that good that I would buy them again and again. So here's the list that I have, and we'll go over it. So this isn't any particular order, and I'm not really sure how many are on here, probably around 10. But let's start with, and also my palette isn't super, like, it's not like these are all over the place. Some of these I think a lot of people would consider not that, not that prestigious of cigars. Some of them are, but they're what I like. So here we go. So we'll start off with the Diesel Unholy Cocktail. Now it is a cheaper cigar, but it's full flavored. It is an older cigar that was one of the first ones that I think that AJ Fernandez blended for another company. And it is also a cigar that first had one of my first full flavored cigars that I was kind of intimidated to try. But once I tried it, I found that it was actually really good and not as strong, not as strong as I thought it would be, to me anyway. It's got a Pennsylvania broadleaf wrapper, which was the first time I ever tried that, and ever since then I've really enjoyed Pennsylvania broadleaf. So that is the Diesel Unholy Cocktail. All Nicaraguan fillers, very full flavored, but sweet and spicy. One of the things that I like about cigars, sweet and spicy. All right, here's another one, the Padone Laundre. So that is probably, I think it uses the same tobaccos that would be used in the 1000 series, although this one's I think one step smaller than the Padron 2000. So it's probably like a 46 ring gauge. I think it's 6 inches, and it's the Maduro one that I like. First time I tried it, I was like, wow. I get it. I see why people like Padrones. The thing that I like about it is, well, number one, it's spicy, it's peppery, it's got those chocolate and flavors. And the one thing that I really find is it's got a unique coffee taste. Although there's nothing super special or unique, it is unique and special. There's no other cigar that tastes quite like it. And it's very consistent, great draw. Really good cigar. I really like it. Full flavored and spicy, but not intimidating or too strong. The balance is really good with that one. So definitely that one. The LFD, there's not a lot of LFDs that I like. I'm really picky when it comes to Dominican tobacco, but I did try a few times the Lido Gomez, which is a kind of a limited special release. And considering it is made from a small crop of singular tobacco, it is really good. It's just once again, it's a kind of a spicy, strong, but approachable cigar. So another one that I really enjoy is a house blend that is here in Canada called Havana Castle. Now on my first 2018 list, one of my top 5s was their red label. They have a bunch of them now, but their core line is like a red, a white, blue, and a black. That would be the Maduro. And I think over time I've realized that the white is my favorite. It is once again, it's a sweet and spicy Nicaraguan filled cigar with a Ecuadorian Habano wrapper. Always a great smoke, pretty consistent. The draw and construction on the Havana Castle cigars are amazing. They have their own factory in Nicaragua where they grow and roll their cigars. They're not your typical, house blend rolled and blended by somebody else. They do it themselves, and they do a really great job. Another one that's probably lower on my list, but I always seem to pick one up when I have a hankering for one, and this is by a company that a lot of people seem to have hate over, and they are definitely inconsistent when it comes to a lot of their stuff, but this one has always been a home run hit for me, and that is the Garcia Ghost. It has, I'm pretty sure the one that I have, the Asura, has the Arapiraca wrapper, and it's got some Criollo Dominican tobacco as well as some Nicaraguan tobacco. Just a really good, it's kind of got like a cinnamony thing going on, some cinnamon, some coffee. I can definitely taste the Corojo tobacco in it, and Corojo Dominican tobacco, when it's done right, is a really good tasting leaf. By the way, what I'm smoking right now is one of my home rolled. It's one that I think I was messing around with, but I think I finally perfected it, and I call it the BSG, or the Bazuki Shade Grown. It's got a Bazuki, it's an Indonesian Sumatra type of wrapper, and it's my kind of homage to the Ashton VSG, the Virgin Sun Grown. So the flavors I was looking for were nutty and black pepper, and a fairly full flavored cigar, and that's pretty much what I got with it. It's a little bit more unique in the way that it's got a little more variety in the nuts. It's got a little bit more walnut, and it's also got some sweet pistachio there, and it's definitely got that black pepper with a little bit of white pepper, and a little bit of funk. The Bazuki wrapper has a little, it might be slightly just like what is it, the Mexican San Andreas. Sometimes they use fires to, it's not fire cured, but they'll use fires around the tobacco to just dry the air out, to monitor to maintain the humidity, and it gives it sometimes a little bit of a smoky funk, and that's what this Bazuki has. So it also gives it a little bit of a burly, almost like cigarette kind of thing going on. It's definitely not a cigarette, it's a cigar, but there's something reminiscent of a cigarette smoke going on with those cigar flavors, which is very unique. So definitely a keeper blend, and I'm gonna keep it in my staple, put it in I have one binder of all my keeper blends, and this is definitely gonna be right in there. Now the LFD, or not the LFD, but the VSG from Aston didn't quite make my list. It's a good cigar. I think I've had enough of them now, and I can pretty much, mimic that style of Dominican tobacco. I've got a really good supply that I think I can make cigars that are the same, if not better, for my palate. I can roll myself, such as this one. Okay, so what else have we got on here? Here's one that it's been on my last list, and it was the El Carajan by LFD. And this one's just a little cigarillo, but it packs a punch. It's a mean little stick. I think it's got some mostly Corojo Ligero in it with some Piloto and a nice Ecuadorian Maduro wrapper. So it's a small one, but it always is. It's filling. It's for if you're kind of wanting something a little bit quick, like maybe a half an hour smoke, but you want that full cigar kind of experience. I love that cigar. It's a really, really good cigar. All right, moving up my list, we have, so now we're going to probably get up in more of my top cigars for sure. One of them, which I haven't been able to get for a long time, and it's from the Black Label Trading Company, and it is called the Deliverance Nocturne. Oh, looks like my cigar is going out. Let me touch it up a little bit. So the Deliverance Nocturne is a limited release cigar. It is a Pennsylvania broadleaf wrapped cigar, and it's also got some Pennsylvania broadleaf Ligero in it as well. So it's got a really neat kind of like cartoony perfecto look to it. It's got a real meaty Nicaraguan Ligeros in there as well to give it that kind of meaty, spicy, but not too spicy. But it's a nice full flavored, just kind of a dark roast coffee type of cigar with that Pennsylvania broadleaf. So it's got a bit of molasses and black pepper, a little bit of citrus in there as well. If they made more of those, I would definitely be picking them up, but I think they are limited, and I don't know if they're planning on making any more or not. Another one which I always pick up if I see one around, it surprised me, and it's by Tatah. The first Tatah I ever had was in a sampler pack, and it was the red label, and I was really impressed. It had those nice bitey Nicaraguan flavors, and I thought that would be like one of my favorite Tatahs. And I heard about the brown label, the Cazadores, and I heard about that one, and I heard it was milder. It didn't really seem to get as much attention as the black label did, but when I tried it, I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, this has got lots of spice and lots of sweet, sweet pepper, but it's not a strong cigar. It's just a nice light-bodied, fairly light-bodied for that type of cigar, but it's got just that perfect mix of approachable coffee kind of Nicaraguan flavors with that just sweet, spicy thing going on. Really well balanced, well done cigar. Really enjoy that. Now, moving up my list here, in the past, when I first started smoking, I never really liked Dominican cigars, so I thought. And it's probably because when it comes to lower priced, cheaper budget cigars that have Dominican tobacco, I just found them really mild, and there just wasn't a lot of flavor. And if there was a lot of flavor, it wasn't the flavors that I liked until I tried. What I wanted to do is I wanted to find what would be considered one of the best or one of the better Dominican cigars, and from what I was told back then, it was the Opus X. So a friend of mine hooked me up with some, and the first one that I ever smoked, I was blown away. I know that it's probably not cool to like them, because you're supposed to like them, but I really did. It was just once again had lots of just the right amount of spice. It was full flavored. It was sweet. It had that cinnamon. It had some floral flavors to it, cedar. And against what I thought, Dominican cigars can be just as flavorful and just as strong or even spicy as a Nicaraguan cigar if blended right. The only problem, one caveat with the Opus X, and I'm just talking about the regular Fuente Robusto. The problem with them is I find them surprisingly very inconsistent. I've had probably 6 of them, and maybe 2 or 3 were the best smoke, some of the best smokes. Probably I would say my number 1 smoke of all time would be those Opus X's, but the other 3 or 4, the other half of them were either sour or didn't have good taste at all. They're probably one of the worst cigars that I had. So whatever that means, right? So when they're on, they're on. I love them. Great cigars. When they're not, it's a huge waste of money. It's a crapshoot, right? So I got a few more Fuente. My brother picked up for me, so I'm gonna let them age. I think aging maybe a bit of it. And you know what I think too? I almost wonder if they platoon the cigars. So what I mean by that is they add some sort of a flavoring, not a flavoring, but some sort of something to the tobacco to alter the taste, like that's not pure tobacco. Because whenever I've ripped them apart, number one, I can smell, when you smell them, they've got this sweet perfume smell that I've never smelled in any cigar before, and I don't know how they're getting that in the tobacco. I'm not saying for sure, but I've got a feeling. And when I have opened up like what was left when I was done smoking, I found a really wet. Every one of them has a real wet, moist, kind of almost black leaf inside of it, and I'm wondering if that's some sort of ligero that they're chemically altering. I don't know for sure, but I'm willing to bet myself that they do. Anyway, Opus X. Speaking of another good Dominican cigar that I was really surprised, I didn't think I was gonna, well, I wasn't sure if I was gonna like it or not, because you just never know, no matter how much they're hyped or not hyped, was the Arturo Fuente Don Carlos. Once again, I was expecting it to be mild, or from what a lot of people said, but to me it was had lots of flavor, and what I really found was it was not just flavorful, but it was sweet. One of the sweetest cigars that I had, and flavorful. Now I have had a couple since then, and the other ones weren't quite as sweet, but still full flavored, really good cigar, and not overly spicy, but I don't have to have always spicy cigars. I do enjoy my spice, especially if it's not too overpowering, but just a great cigar. Well-rounded, well-performing, good-tasting cigar. Okay, so let's see. I think I got 2 more on my list. So 2 that have been on that I've always liked since the time I've liked them, and they were on my last list and on this list as well. And the first one would be the Southern Draw Jacob's Ladder Brimstone Edition. It is in a neat kind of figurado shape, kind of a perfecto. And it was, at the time, it was when I was trying, I wanted to try the strongest cigars out there. This one was supposed to be really strong, have a big dinner before you eat it. and I got one and I smoked it, and I was surprised. It actually there's stronger than, at least there's more harsher cigars. I was expecting it to maybe be strong and harsh, but it was smooth, creamy, once again sweet, but yet full flavored, and had some nice spice and that Nicaraguan kind of creamy coffee mocha taste going on, and some darker Maduro flavors as well. And it's another cigar that has the Pennsylvania broadleaf as a wrapper. It's got some Nicaraguan fillers and some Piloto Dominican in there, which probably is what mellows it out, smooths it out a little bit. Even though Piloto, it is a Ligero, Dominican Piloto is, I find, a milder type of tobacco. And last but not least, probably tied for my number one with the well, tied, I think my number one's, there's three different ones. There's the Southern Draw Brimstone, there's the Opus X, and then there's this one right here, which if you know me, you've probably heard me talk about it a million times. It is I always try to have them. They're not too hard to get. They've been around for quite a while, and that is the Camacho Triple Maduro. It is a Honduran-based cigar. It has it's got some Honduran Corojo in it, as well as some, I think, some Brazilian, and it's got a Mexican San Andreas wrapper. So it's it says that it's got all Maduro filler, binder, and wrapper, and I'm wondering if ever since they got taken over by Davidoff, if that's true, because I've taken them apart and the binder doesn't look very Maduro and all the filler doesn't look very Maduro. But that's the one I've always smoked. I never had the original Triple Maduro, but I enjoy it. I love it. It's got the three of my favorite flavors. It's got coffee, the coffee flavor. It's got some cocoa chocolate, and it's got a nice pepper. So it's got all those in there. It's very approachable. It's got those Maduro dark roasted coffee type of flavors, but it's not super strong. It's not going to knock you out. It's actually, the nicotine's about medium, so it's got that full flavored Maduro flavors, but it's not going to necessarily knock you over. If you're new to cigars and you really want to know what Maduro is all about, I would definitely recommend the Triple Maduro, or maybe the CAO MX2 is also a really great representation of a Maduro, what a Maduro tastes like. So those are my favorite cigars. Those are ones that I would probably buy over and over again, and and they're ones that I've pretty much liked for a long time. I've tried lots of cigars since then, but those ones always are a staple. Those ones I really enjoy. So what are some cigars that you guys like? I'd be interested. Leave them in the bottom below. Have you tried any of these? Do you like them, the ones that I like, or not? And let me know why. So this was a long video, but I think it was a good one. So I hope you guys enjoyed it too, and I'll see you on my next video. So till then, Aromatics, signing out.